Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm, coming to you from the side of a road. Because on the side of the roads around here in North Alabama, one thing I find a lot of is Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace is the wild carrot. It is edible, but there's not much to eat to it, but it's primarily a medicinal. And let me show it to you. If you notice, these leaves look a lot like a carrot leaf. They're just bigger. The stalk grows pretty tall. And it's got these white flowers on top. And the white flowers form little islands that are flat. Now, a disclaimer. There are many things that grow wild that are good to eat and good for you and healthy and medicinal. But there's also a lot of things that can make you sick and kill you. And sometimes they're hard to tell apart. So if you don't know exactly what you're getting, consult a local expert or expert on your local plants before you try anything. Before you put anything in your mouth or try it in any fashion. Because I'll tell you one thing, this is a very good plant, but there's a plant that's very similar to this. This is a form of hemlock, but on it the flowerets are more rounded at the top. They're not as flat like these. You see that flat? That's one way to tell this from the hemlock. So, if you pull this up, there's a white taproot in here. Not very big, but that is your wild carrot right there. I can't even see my video screen here today. But this is it. Now you could get some carbs out of that, but you'd have to pull up a lot of these to get many carbs to eat. However, it smells like a carrot. It actually does. It smells just like a carrot. And you know, leaves probably have a carrot-like flavor to them too. So you can eat that root. And the flowerets, here's the good thing. You can make a tincture from these flowerets, and they're said to fight gout. So more on that in the future. Anyway, if you like my video, please click subscribe. If you've not already subscribed, bang the update notification bell. Got a lot more videos on wild edibles, medicinal, and how to survive and thrive and stay out of the hive type topics about power grid defense, growing your own food, worm farming. I sell worms. Check the links below for that. For survival supplies, check My Patriot Supply. You might want to get some before food prices skyrocket. And also check with Tree Leaf Market below. It's a good time to order seeds. You can still do some planting this year. You can save seeds for next year in case you can't get them, and you can grow microgreens indoors and other plants year-round. Try that out. It can cause blisters and dermatitis. That's something to watch out for. Hemlock is highly poisonous. There's no beta-carotene, Queen Anne's lace, but it does have vitamin C, D, E, K, B1, and B6. It's got biotin, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, organic sulfur, and some trace minerals. The flower heads can be eaten fried in an oil like a fritter, or you can, of course, make jellies out of them like you can with many flowers. The young leaves are said to be edible. Now these a little bit on the carroty side, but the plants will go from 1 to 2 years. Well, actually it's a biennial or 2-year plant. The roots can be eaten usually for a year old raw, but you have to cook them. Beyond that, it's suggested to cook them for 15-20 minutes at least. You can dry them, ground them. You can dry them, roast them, grind them up, and then use them as a coffee substitute. It's a diuretic, mild stimulant. Seeds can be used in soups and stews as a seasoning. They also make a green dye and paper out of Queen Anne's lace, believe it or not. You can do that. Again, those seeds are kind of like a parsley seed or a caraway seed, but they're stronger as a spice. That's Queen Anne's lace over there. Yeah, the flowers will bunch together when they go into like a root stage. I'm gonna verify this. I'm gonna pull it up. So this has a whitish root on it. You can hardly see the video screen on my camera right here in the daylight. Here we go. Yeah, there's the whitish root. And it does smell carroty. It would have a foul odor. This is a 1-year plant. It would have a foul odor to it if it were a, all right, there's the hair. So it does have the hair on it. It's got the little hairy pieces here. Right? But you can also tell by breaking the stems. See what they smell like? Stems of hemlock broken stink. That does not stink. Actually, it has more of a piney flavor on that one. But just some more advice about Queen Anne's lace. Again, I'm not a expert on plants or medicinals, so please consult a local expert before you try any of these things. It can be deadly. Hemlock is very deadly, even in small quantities. So just be careful. And also, since it grows on the side of the road, be careful with traffic. Yeah, and on this Queen Anne's lace, I mentioned you can make tinctures with it, but you can also make teas from the leaves and the flowerets, and you can do poultices from it too. And I believe the flowerets is what's got the most active ingredient for anti-gout fighting agents. But got a guy here with me I'm going to give this to because he's got gout, and so we'll find out if it helps him. Anyway, there you go. Hope that helps you out some. All right, I want to add and reemphasize key differences between Queen Anne's lace and hemlock. Essentially, Queen Anne's lace grows 1 to 3 foot tall. It has a little bitty purple flower right in the center of the head. If you look at the video, you can see as I'm flashing around the heads in some of the cases. The stems are usually hairy. Now, this stuff I was picking up, I found a little hair on the stems, but actually it's mostly smooth, which is typically a characteristic of hemlock. However, the roots of wild carrot, Queen Anne's lace, smell like carrot. And when you break the stems, they don't stink. Whereas hemlock, now hemlock is also in the carrot family. The hemlock grows, of course, from short all the way up to 6 foot tall. And when it's short, it might look a lot more like Queen Anne's lace if you don't look carefully. But 6 foot tall Queen Anne's lace don't get that tall. The flowers on the heads of hemlock, now see, they come out, as I mentioned, the heads on the Queen Anne's lace is kind of sort of flat, except when they curl up at the end when they start to make seed. But the flowerets on the hemlock, they separate out more into individual bunches of flowerets. And their structure is not as flat, it's more rounded. And that's a key thing. Also, the stems are smooth, and they tend to have splotches, usually a bit purplish on the stems. So they tend to have splotches, purplish splotches on the stems, and the stems are smooth. And when you break the stems, they stink. The roots do not smell like carrot. It might smell a little bit like parsnip, but not carrot, and usually they stink. So those are key things. Our biology is, we are set up to that most things that are poisonous or bad for us smell foul to us. That's a fortunate thing. There may be exceptions, but especially in man-made products. So don't take my word for that entirely. And there are plants, of course, you touch that can kill you just from touching them. But unfortunately, that's not in my area or my neck of the woods. But again, that's the key things about Queen Anne's lace and hemlock. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not an expert. Do consult with a local expert. Plant varieties actually vary a bit from location to location. For example, the saying that all wild carrot has hairy stems. Well, in my area, the stems are actually pretty smooth. You might find a little hair on a few locations, but it's not like typically you see in other videos. But indeed, they're wild carrots. Makes it a little harder to distinguish from hemlock. So do be aware and be careful. But if you have good local expertise that can show you and teach you, if you know what you're doing, hey, I can tell personally from the smell of the carrot. I've known about wild carrot and Queen Anne's lace long before I ever knew about hemlock, and I've dealt with it for years. Fortunately, hemlock is not that prevalent where I live, and if something smelled foul, I would leave it alone. It's just one of those biological responses, but that's not saying that anybody ever, we actually all have a little bit different taste buds, different senses of smell. So do be careful. But the key thing here is that if you're hungry, Queen Anne's lace is fairly abundant and in lots of areas. So it is something you can eat. It's something you can use for medicinals. There's many medicinal uses for it. So check it out. And there's a lot to be learned from the wild edibles. There's much to live off of in the forest. Before I'd use the Queen Anne's lace, I'd prefer to get it not growing on the side of the road. If you can find a pasture or a field where that stuff's growing, where they've not been spraying a lot of stuff, you're probably better off. Although if you really need the medicinal aspects of it, and if you're really starving to death, I'd take it from any place. Anyway, thank you for watching.